Good afternoon, everyone. This is BBC Radio News, and today we are addressing the Manchurian conflict, which has been a problem for the League of Nations since 1931. Our first guest speaker has been a spy for us since the beginning, and today she will be telling us a bit about the situation in Manchuria. Mrs. Sayuri, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here today. My name is Nita Sayuri. I am wife of the Japanese general in charge of the invasion.
Did your husband ever tell you what was Japan's reason to invade Manchuria, even when the government was against this action? How do Japanese citizens feel about this?
Well, there are many reasons for this. Firstly, Japan was devastated by the Great Depression of the 1930s. It severely affected its economy, and it had to find a way to save itself from this problem. When they looked at England's and France's situation, they realized that their colonies were of great help, and it was a large factor for them not being as affected as Japan during the Great Depression. They decided colonies would be a good solution for their economical problems. Furthermore, they decided to create an empire of their own, and Manchuria was a great place to start collecting resources, like coal and oil, and it was really good strategic position to invade other countries with the Asian continent. In addition, it increased the army's power and it was a really good strategic position to invade other countries within the Asian continent. In addition, it increased the army's power and it was a really good situation for the invasion because of the Japanese railway. All of these were enough reasons for the Japanese army, with help of the emperor, to decide to attack Manchuria. Most people are actually happy with the army's decision. They know it's a chance for survival.
There must have been some planning for this. What tactics did Japan use to invade Manchuria?
I am not quite sure about this. My husband doesn't really share his secrets with me. But from what I could hear from his conversations with his advisors, they decided to bomb their own railway in Manchuria, the South Manchurian Railway, and used this excuse to address the anarchy in China and the dangers of this situation. This allowed them to use the excuse of China not being a country to attack.
That's some really interesting information you are telling us. Now, lastly, how has Japan been affected by this invasion?
To begin with, as I originally mentioned, it gives them leverage in the Asian continent to invade other nations. Their economy has improved because of the resources in the land they took from China. Their army has become stronger because of the morale is higher and they have people under their control which they can force to enlist. It has also made imperialism take over Japan since the government had to give in to the army.
Thanks for your time, Mrs. Sayuri. I hope having this interview with us doesn't put you in danger. We have also been able to get an interview with the Secretary General of the League of Nations, James Eric Drummond. Mr. Drummond, please come in.
Hello.
Hi. Can you tell us a briefing of the situation in Manchuria?
As most of you will know, Japan invaded China's eastern seaboard in 1931. They claimed that the Chinese soldiers had sabotaged the railway and attacked the Chinese army. By February of 1932, the Japanese had conquered Manchuria.
So, what was the League's immediate response to Japan's attack?
The League sent a delegation to assess the situation in Manchuria. The report was presented a full year after. They reported that Japan was completely wrong and that Manchuria should be returned to China. In 1933, instead of withdrawing from Manchuria, the Japanese decided to keep invading Manchuria, alleging that it was in self-defense.
And what made Japan leave the League?
A special assembly was held in February 1933. 42 nations voted that Japan was to blame and should withdraw. 1. Japan voted against. Japan decided not to follow the decision and resigned from the League the 27th of March 1933. The next week they invaded Jehol.
Why did you not...
How long till we finish? What was the question?
Why did you not stop Japan from invading?
The League isn't in a position to sanction Japan. USA, Japan's main trading partner, was not part of the League. Britain was interested in keeping relations with Japan because of the Depression.
How has this affected the League of Nations?
It showed that the League wasn't strong enough to act when a powerful nation attacked. Japan abandoned the League of Nations because they weren't happy with its decision. A precedent was set to show other nations that if they were powerful enough, they could act without consequences. It could even encourage young extremists that war and invasion are the best way to solve national problems. As the League was powerless, if a strong nation decided to pursue an aggressive policy against other countries, allowing a country such as Japan to commit deliberate aggression without serious consequences.
Now, coming to our next and final guest, a Manchurian lady who would rather not reveal her identity for safety purposes. So, our first question is, how do you feel about the League not being able to protect you from Japan?
It makes me feel that the League is really weak, useless. Our land was being taken from us, even after the Kellogg-Briand Pact, where countries decided not to go war again. Every promise is empty.
And what has been the impact of this invasion on Manchuria?
Manchukuo was created as a new state that was being controlled by Japan. Supposedly, it was run by the former Chinese emperor, but no one believes it. And also, thousands of Chinese soldiers and civilians were killed by the ruthless Japanese in ways you can't even start to imagine. Furthermore, control of Manchuria. I know. No. But many of us also believe there was a good side to it. Control of Manchuria means that there is a block against communist aggression because of the Japanese ways of life.
Okay, thank you very much. With this, we are ending our podcast. See us next week to update you on the crisis. Goodbye.